On the first weekend in April, 4 schools, each rich in college basketball tradition, came to the Bayou of Louisiana to crown a national champion.
Mashburn against Howard, goes inside the lane, puts it up and in. Moving in, ups it to Dent, stuffs it in. Great move by Jamal Mashburn, the All-American.
Kansas can cut it to 2 right here. Walters in the lane, up high. Went good by Adonis Jordan. Hancock goes. Yes, he beats the buzzer. What a...
He'll go in all alone, slams it through big time with the right hand. Rose driving into the hole. He is hammered. Basket count. Ford grabbed him around the neck.
And laughs at him coming across the bench. He comes on the left side. Alley-oop to George Lake. Got him behind the prime reason he gets the stuff. Shooting on the move and scoring. Drops it off to Montross with the dunk behind Juwan Howard.
The 1993 NCAA Championship, March of the Tar Heels. This was a college basketball season like few others. At one time or another, 6 different teams held the #1 ranking, while nearly 60 more held on to a dream. That dream was to get to the NCAA tournament and the chance to play for the national championship. And when the field of 64 was finally determined, each had earned the chance to make its dream come true.
Watch out!
March Madness was about to begin. The '93 championship got off to a typically frenzied start.
Spinning, putting it up, and in!
California freshman phenom Jason Kidd provided the first buzzer beater. As the early drama began to unfold, so did the early upsets. In the West, 12th-seeded George Washington surprised everyone, including the 5th seed New Mexico, as the Colonials advanced to the second round against another unlikely winner. Joining GW was the 13th seeded Jaguars of Southern, who pounced on the region's #4 seed Georgia Tech and sped away with an impressive 93-78 victory.
We have had another upset today.
But by far the biggest upset of the first round belonged to the 15 seed Santa Clara, which knocked off the West 2nd seed Arizona. The Broncs held on to a 3-point victory to become the lowest seeded team to advance this year. The upsets continued in the second round, where Western Kentucky, the #7 seed in the Southeast, shocked favored Seton Hall. Although the 2nd seeded Pirates had entered the tournament as one of the country's hottest teams, Mark Bell and Western Kentucky were hotter, putting an end to the Hall's 12-game winning streak and its Final Four dreams.
And Western Kentucky has pulled off a big upset.
But perhaps the most stunning result of the second round took place in the Midwest, where 2-time defending champ Duke was stopped by the region's 6th seed California. All-America guard Bobby Hurley did all he could for the Devils, but down the stretch, Duke could not overcome Jason Kidd and Cal. The Bears held on for an 82-77 victory, and in the process ended Duke's dynasty.
Rebound Murray. Big goal. Cal wins it.
The defeat also ended the college careers of Bobby Hurley and Thomas Hill, who for the first time would not reach the Final Four.
Bobby and Thomas have been like sons to me. They've taken me to places and have experiences that no other college coach has had over the last 20 years. I'm only sad that I can't do it anymore with them. And all this stuff where people talk about college sports and things being bad, I want to whack everybody who says that. College sports are great.
Despite the upsets, the Sweet 16 still had plenty of power. In the East, the second seed Cincinnati flexed its defensive muscle and used its transition game to overwhelm Virginia 71-54 and earned a date in the regional finals with North Carolina. In the Midwest, Louisville came into its game with top-seeded Indiana with high expectations. But the Hoosiers proved to be too much for the fifth-seeded Cardinals as Indiana's 82-69 win put Calvert Cheney and Bob Knight just one victory away from New Orleans. Also hoping to make the trip to the Crescent City was upset-minded Western Kentucky, which faced the region's number 3 seed, Florida State. With the game tied and time running out, the Seminoles' Sam Cassell had 2 shots to end it all. In the extra period, Florida State led by 3, and as time wound down, Western Kentucky had one last chance to keep its dream season alive.
Heartbreak hometown.
Another team with a dream was Temple, which had beaten both Missouri and Santa Clara to advance to the round of 16. Once there, the Owls repeatedly forced the third-seeded Vanderbilt team into mistakes and forged their way into the West Regional Final with a 67-59 win.
Seed in the West is 1 game away from New Orleans.
Ultimately, the 4 teams that made it to New Orleans were true heavyweights of college basketball. Their gathering at the Final Four would be a fitting conclusion to a great season. From the Southeast came the region's 2nd seed, Kansas. Coach Roy Williams' Jayhawks were led all year by their outstanding senior backcourt of Adonis Jordan and sharpshooter Rex Walters. In the tournament, it was their scoring, along with a frenetic defensive style, that led Kansas to wins over Ball State, Brigham Young, and California.
The Jayhawks will meet Indiana on Saturday in the regional
The
finals.
Jayhawks continued their exceptional play in the regional finals against top-seeded Indiana, where a 10-0 second-half spurt helped Kansas soar past the Hoosiers and earn its 2nd Final Four appearance in the last 3 years and 3rd in the last 6. Out of the Southeast came Kentucky, the region's number 1 seed. After a great regular season, Rick Pitino's Wildcats moved into the tournament with high expectations. Keyed by forward Jamal Mashburn and point guard Travis Ford, Kentucky made quick work of its first 3 tournament opponents, winning by an average of 33 points. Then in the regional finals against Florida State, the carnage continued with a 106-81 blowout that completed Kentucky's total dominance of the Southeast region. From the West came the number 1 seed, Michigan. For the 2nd straight year, Coach Steve Fisher's flamboyant Fab Five returned to the Final Four. Michigan started the tournament with an easy first-round win over Coastal Carolina, then had to rally from 19 points down to beat UCLA in overtime.
3, 2, Rose on the wiener, no! Put back! Michigan is on its way to Seattle.
In Seattle, the Wolverines first beat George Washington and then Temple, breaking away down the stretch to secure a spot in the Superdome.
Is headed back to the Final Four.
Out of the East came yet another #1 seed, North Carolina. When the season began, Coach Dean Smith was hoping to guide the Tar Heels to their first title in 11 years. And with senior forward George Lynch and junior center Eric Montross leading the way, North Carolina was ready to make a run. After 2 easy early round victories, Arkansas nearly upset Carolina's travel plans to New Orleans. But the Heels hung on and then nearly avoided overtime against Cincinnati in the regional finals.
Reese missed the jam, and it would have counted.
In overtime, Carolina counted on Donald Williams, who buried 2 3-pointers to lift the Tar Heels to victory and secured Dean's 9th trip to the Final Four. So on the first weekend in April, all eyes shifted down south to the banks of the mighty Mississippi to watch college basketball's mightiest teams battle for a national title. On Friday, the 4 finalists gathered in the Superdome for one last practice. In less than 24 hours, the teams would return to the same court to begin the quest for the national championship. So now was the time to enjoy the moment. Who would emerge as national champion? As Saturday dawned, anticipation surrounded the Superdome.
UNC! #1! Go Big Blue!
We're taking it home this year.
We're wearing our game face and we're focused.
In the first semifinal of the day, Kansas faced North Carolina. On paper, it was supposed to be Kansas' outside game against the inside game of North Carolina.
And the Final Four is underway. Carolina with the first possession.
But the Jayhawks soon realized that to win, they would have to combat Carolina with physical play of their own. Trying hard not to give up any easy shots, Kansas looked to take a bite out of North Carolina's up-front game. But the Tar Heels were intent on sticking to what got them there, and they repeatedly went inside.
You know, our primary game plan is to use the inside game whenever possible. Coaches stress that, and the players love to get high percentage shots just as well.
While Carolina kept pounding the ball into the paint, Kansas stayed close by scoring from the outside.
Against the dribbler.
Walters missed his first from out here, but not the second.
Second time today, although
The early key to the game was Eric Montross, with the 7-foot center clearing the way. Carolina scored its first 7 baskets from less than 10 feet. The Tar Heels were dominating inside, getting help from everyone, including George Lynch.
He works hard. I mean, he have a good sense for the ball. Once he go up, he's always there.
He'll go off the sideline to Brian Reese.
With Lynch on his way to scoring 10 first-half points, the Heels had the game going their way.
George Lynch.
Kansas, however, responded with long-range shooting as Adonis Jordan and Rex Walters kept Carolina from pulling away, narrowing the Tar Heels' lead to a single point with just over 11 minutes to play.
why would you let Rex Walters alone?
Yeah, we played excellent defense for the most part, but yet Walters and Jordan really lit it up. I think we played about as well as we can in stretches. So, we have to get back. We have to build out on their three-point shooting ability, but they're very good getting the ball inside. It's just a well-balanced team.
Over the next 5 minutes, the Tar Heels showed how well-balanced they could be, stepping up their defensive pressure and relying on the outside shooting of Donald Williams, who outscored Kansas 11-1.
Shot off the glass and banked it in. Right over the top of Rex Walters. Donald Williams with 5. Kansas quickly attacks. Williams with his second. Boy, they did a great job of working him open left of the circle, and it's 33-24, Carolina by 9. Hawks down by just 6. Gurley for 3. He hit it! There's a big basket.
Kansas, however, steadily answered back. And as the half wound down, so too did most of North Carolina's lead.
It counts. It goes just at the buzzer. Darren Hancock's second field goal of the game. And as the teams head to the dressing room, Carolina, after leading by as many as 10, has a 4-point advantage.
Carolina's slim halftime advantage was reason for concern.
20 minutes. Go, fellas. We got another half, baby. No letdowns. We up by 10 and we let down, fellas. We get tired. We get tired. Get it tired, Steve.
Push ourselves to go. Let's get done this half. Let's go heels on 3. 1, 2, 3.
During the first 20 minutes, the Heels had outmuscled Kansas. But the Jayhawks refused to go away. So now as the second half began, Carolina continued its inside assault with Montross scoring the Heels' first 5 baskets. With 5 minutes gone, Carolina led 54-46.
We do get the ball in scoring position. We need him to score, and he does that every time for us. He's been doing it all season long, and we need him in there, and I'm glad we have him.
In the corner to Williams, bounces it down low, fell from big underneath, bounce pass to Montross. He scores and gets fouled by Pauly.
Up to now, scoring points hadn't been the problem for Carolina. Stopping Kansas was until Derek Phelps went to work.
Well, we have to give Derek a lot of credit on where he controlled Adonis and pretty much dictated, what plays Adonis wanted to call and things like that, which helped us out defensively down low.
Like a shadow in the Superdome, Phelps followed Jordan's every move, disrupting the Kansas offense by forcing the Jayhawks point guard further and further from the basket. Meanwhile, Carolina was intent on getting closer and closer to the basket.
Down low to Montross. Montross spins to the lane and scores. He got hooked by Eric Montross.
But soon, the focus of the Tar Heel attack would again shift outside to Donald Williams, who would eventually finish with a game-high 25 points and 5 three-pointers.
Comes out of there on his own dribble. Will bring it front court on the right side. Stops, pops the 3. Good.
I think that we had to first go inside and make sure that if they did try and stop it, we had an outside game, and they weren't able to for the most part. And then Donald Williams and some other outside players caught fire, and we were rolling.
Coming out on him to Donald Williams. Takes the 3. Yes! Knocks the bottom out of it.
Both teams wanted to control tempo. Although we have the same philosophy, the tempo is a little different. I think we were able to control it to the style that we wanted to play, and we're able to, make them do some things defensively that, gave us a little advantage.
With its powerful inside game working to perfection, Carolina had completely frustrated the Jayhawks. On top of that, Kansas just couldn't overcome the Heels' tenacious defense and terrific outside shooting, never once taking the lead since the game's first minute. Still, Kansas' outstanding guards managed to keep the Jayhawks close throughout the game. And with a little under 5 minutes to play, the Tar Heels still found themselves clinging to just a 4-point lead.
And somewhere the Tar Heels have got to find something to hold off the Jayhawks.
Over the next 2 minutes, both teams dug down deep, but neither side could take control. Eventually, Kansas would narrow the lead to 3. But Donald Williams came through again.
Goes over the top.
Williams firing quickly. Huge three. It puts him up 6.
Desperately in need of points on his next possession, Kansas would come up empty.
71-65 against Brian Reese. Reese goes down to Walters. Walters left side stolen by Williams. Tried to go to Ritchie with it.
Soon after, Rex Walters and the Jayhawks would see their dream slipping away.
Walters goes to the other end. He falls down, and they say he's out of bounds.
From 5 minutes on in, Carolina outscored Kansas 11-5, holding the Jayhawks to just 1 field goal. That was the key as the Heels went on to a 78-68 win to move on to Monday night.
North Carolina is in the championship game. And for the first time...
The day's second semifinal matched Michigan against Kentucky.
Ready to play basketball. Michigan versus the University of Kentucky.
Always remember, let's just get her on. There won't be any problem. 1, 2, 3, forward, go!
Go out there and have fun, and that's what it's all about.
6'8" junior from New York, number 24, Jamal Mashburn.
We're going to have to be aggressive, starting with our defense.
Ford down the left wing. Low block to Mashburn, knocked away by Michigan.
Transition, make sure that we don't allow for the spectacular dunk. They feed off of that.
We gotta find a body and stick it on him and block him out.
Top side, he'll throw for the free straight away. Off the iron, no. Rebound, Weber.
They were definitely looking for Jamal. First time down court.
Again with another great drive.
This is gonna be the best Michigan team we've ever seen play before.
This is a do-or-die situation. Each team with 30 wins on the season. 1 win away from the title game.
From the start, both teams played at a blistering pace, with an intensity level turned up high.
Dale Brown, another unbelievable shot. Dale Brown is the story early for Kentucky.
Jalen down the lane, underhand scoop on the way to hit.
While each team looked to gain momentum, it was Michigan who first got the upper hand as Chris Weber found room down low.
Chris Weber hits the basket. 12-7, Michigan biggest lead of the ball game. Rebound.
Kentucky soon settled down
Let's go, DJ.
as Jamal Mashburn settled in.
Goes under, lays it up and in. Great move by Jamal Mashburn, the All-American. Right side over the Mashburn. One-on-one underneath. When goes up, puts a shot in. Good on his
With Mashburn scoring 13 of his 17 first-half points, the Wildcats raced to a 22-19 lead. And with just under 8 minutes left in the half, Michigan looked to regroup. As the half wound down, the beat of the game picked up even more as the two teams continued their heated battle to establish ground.
Mashburn moving in, dumps it to Dent, stuffs it in.
Gets it up court to Rose. Lobs low to Jackson, slams it through.
The key Wolverine was the game's leading scorer, Chris Weber, who refused to take a backseat to anyone, especially Jamal Mashburn.
Double team, fakes on Prickett, goes up off the glass, good in. Turns on Prickett, fakes, goes back to the left, drops it through. Shot no good, rebound tapped by Weber, up and in. Rebound! Weber gets it, goes up, lays it up and in. Weber has 16. Ford down the lane, baseline left corner, Brown, three-pointer on the way, it's no good, and at halftime, Michigan leads by 5, 40-35. A great first half by the Wolverines, who have held mighty Kentucky in check for the first 20 minutes of this affair. Wolverines up by 5.
Early in the game, Michigan's ability to control the boards not only translated into points, but also helped keep Kentucky's high-powered offense under control.
Thought it was important that we get off to an average start. Don't get behind by 15 in the first 7-8 minutes, and we jumped off ourselves to 14-7 lead. Thought the start was significant. It gave us a confidence that, hey, the game plan's going to work. Control tempo our way. We're going to be in it from start to finish, and we did that.
Another key to Michigan's halftime lead was the Wolverines' smothering defense on Kentucky guard Travis Ford.
Travis Ford just cannot get open. Ford just can't beat King.
The taller Michigan guards not only cut off Ford's passing lanes, but they forced him into taking shots from well beyond his normal range. And after a tournament average of more than 15 points, Ford was held scoreless for the half.
Defense! Defense! Defense!
The second half started like the first half ended, with Michigan's defense turning into instant offense.
Rose with 10.
Over the first 6 minutes of the second half, the Wolverines took it right to Kentucky and took their largest lead of the night with just under 13 minutes to go.
Up to Howard, right side King to the hole, fakes, goes up, lays it up and in! Taylor drives baseline right, pull up off balance jumper, rolls, won't drop, rebound, from Eric Riley! He's got more! 54-43 Michigan, 12. He beats Prickett and Lamson.
But Kentucky was far from through. The Wildcats rallied to put together an impressive run of their own, a 10-point spurt that eventually deadlocked the game with 9.5 minutes to play.
That's it. Get open, Travis. Get open, get open, get open.
The first one ever to do it, and there's the shot that every Kentucky fan has been waiting for.
Tinga Brown, three-point try, it's good. 54, 52, 3-on-2 Ford, bouncing it to Riddick, goes under, stuffs it. We've got a tie ball game at 54 all.
Down the stretch, the teams traded baskets and traded the lead 9 times during a frenetic finish in what turned out to be a college basketball classic.
Left guard. Rose driving into the hole. He is hammered. Basket counts. Ford grabbed him around the neck, and Jalen still hits it. Rose with 16.
Does not have the shot. Now he does. Pumps it up. It's good. Ford has 8.
Low block to Weber. Spins on Prickett. Goes up off the glass and in. Weber has 25. Michigan leads at the 104 mark, 71-69.
Finally, with 10 seconds remaining, Travis Ford, who had broken free for 12 second-half points, hit 2 clutch free throws to knot the score at 71.
71 all.
But Michigan still had one last
It's
chance.
been a whale of a game here at the Superdome. Second horn is sounded. We're ready to go. Jackson handed the ball. Pound once. Here comes Rose. Out to the right guard. Down on him. Rose spins. Forces a shot. Off the iron. No, we go to overtime. Steve Fisher wanting a foul, and he didn't get it as Rose was knocked to the floor. Five more minutes of basketball here at the Superdome to decide who will play Carolina in the NCAA title game.
Early in the extra period, it was all Kentucky as the Cats opened up a 4-point lead, their biggest of the day.
Flips it short, gets it back. No charge called.
But with a little more than 3 minutes to play, their fate would change dramatically.
Mashburn, and that is foul number 5 on Jamal Mashburn. So Mashburn is out of the game at the 3:23 mark.
As Mashburn and his team-high 26 points disappeared from the game, so too did Kentucky's hopes of victory. Without Mashburn to worry about, the Wolverines were just too strong and too talented. Down the stretch, Michigan outscored the overmatched Wildcats 9-2, eventually taking an 81-78 lead. But Kentucky still had one last chance.
1, 2, 1, 3 off the mark. Michigan in the national title game. They have done it. Unbelievable. The second consecutive year. Michigan in the NCAA title game. They have taken Kentucky.
On Monday, the sights and sounds of New Orleans had a Final Four flavor. After 3 weeks, the field of 64 had been narrowed to 2. One team would eventually celebrate on Bourbon Street, while the other would sing the blues. Monday's championship game would feature North Carolina and Michigan.
We got to control Montrose inside, Lynch, you know, he's second all-time rebounder in Carolina history. We have to keep him off the boards. Our perimeter guys have to do a great defensive job on Williams. We can't let their press or their pressure, we can't turn it over that much. We just have to play another controlled and disciplined game. Both teams have relied a lot on their inside game, and I think which team can, you know, play the best with all the bodies flying around is going to come out on top.
We just have to go out and play hard from start to finish. Eric Montro's a good player, and I can go on talking about how good Eric and how good he played forever, but I'm just looking forward to the matchup. I like to play against the best.
It's going to take the best game we played all year, and Michigan's going to have to play the best game they've played all year, and I think that it's going to be a very tight game. It's going to be just a lot of fun out there. I think that's what this is all about, and with the final two teams, a lot of emotions running, and a lot of hearts beating, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
And we are ready to get the NCAA title tilt underway here at the Superdome. Ed Hightower steps in, throws the ball up in the air, opening tap.
Come on, Hero! Lock down, everybody, here!
Phelps off the glass for the game's first two. Howard at position, blocked by Lynch from behind.
George Lynch timed it perfectly.
At the other end, Montross follows and scores, and he'll shoot one.
From the opening tip, North Carolina established itself as the more aggressive team down low, playing tough at both ends of the floor.
Back screen for George Lynch.
After a physical 4 minutes, the Heels had jumped all over Michigan and jumped out to an early 9-4 lead. Unable to penetrate inside, the frustrated Wolverines looked to guard Rob Pelinka for some help outside.
Pelinka, three-pointer. Got it. Pelinka sets up for another three. 2 in a row. Rob Pelinka, and that's one.
Pelinka's back-to-back three-pointers loosened up the Carolina defense and sparked a 19-4 Michigan run.
3 in a row. 9 straight points on 3.
3 trips, 9 points. Weber driving, no contact, or no foul on the contact, and score the bucket for Chris Weber. Puts it up, too strong. Weber,
That's going to count.
dragged to the floor,
And Weber was so strong, he was able to take it right up. And now, Michigan's got the numbers, 3-on-1.
Howard will challenge Salvadori, and that's a 10-point lead for Michigan.
Trailing 23-13, Dean Smith made a strategic move.
North Carolina sink. They go to the zone for the first time. 2-3 zone, Montross in the middle.
Carolina's zone paid immediate dividends.
Stolen right out of the hands of Riley. Stolen by Lynch.
The Tar Heels defense soon keyed an offensive spurt as Carolina eventually tied the game.
Williams can tie it, he does.
In a first half filled with offensive streaks, it was the Tar Heels who claimed the last burst.
Back to right wing. They give it to
Carolina outscored Michigan 17-8 as Donald Williams scored 5 of his 8 first-half points down the stretch.
And there's the shot.
3-point shot. What a pure shooter.
That was Phelps.
Carolina's lead is its largest of the game.
Clearly, North Carolina's defensive intensity had been the catalyst to its first-half success.
In the first half, we were just playing inside tighter, but still keeping good pressure on their guards, and I think that everybody stepped up their defense another notch.
I think the team competed very strongly. I thought we were active defensively. I thought, yeah, we got the ball where we wanted it, and we're able to come through enough. But Michigan's a hard team against which to play.
Come on now, Jimmy!
Michigan also proved they were a hard team to put away. The Wolverines opened the first 10 minutes of the second half with their vintage open style of play, which eventually lifted the Maize and Blue back on top.
He'll go in all alone, slams it through big time with the right hand. Is up the dribble over to Howard, high post right, alley-oop to Weber, slam it through! Weber with 21, and Michigan leads 60-58 with 8:30 remaining.
Down for the first time in the second half, Carolina answered back with a three-pointer from Donald Williams, who carried the Heels all tournament long.
The Tar Heels ahead by 1.
Tim Williams has done the job down the stretch. Scored the last 9 against Arkansas.
When Donald's hot, we need to get it to him. We need to set more screens for him. because I think he's a type of shooter. He's a great shooter all the time, but he's a terrific shooter once he gets in the groove, and I think that he was in the groove, and we were able to get him open.
My teammates recognize that, and they do a good job of screening for me and really giving me the ball when they see I have the hot hand.
It's unbelievable. Those shots just were falling everywhere for him, and he played very well for us.
Very well indeed. In the Final Four, Williams scored 50 points, making a blistering 71% of his three-pointers to earn the tournament's most outstanding player honors. With the championship on the line, Williams' clutch shooting continued.
Carolina within one.
His fifth three-pointer of the night began a 9-0 Carolina run. It also began what may have been the most memorable Final 4 minutes in Final Four history.
Is good. And rolled off the left side of the rim, and Carolina retakes the lead at 68-67. Turn toward the left sideline. Drops it off to Montross with a dunk behind Juwan Howard. What a play by the Tar Heels. 16 for Montross, 72-67.
But with less than a minute to play, Michigan refused to quit.
Michigan will use their final timeout.
Michigan from getting anything easy.
Michigan. Oh, Reese had his foot on. Reese had his back foot on the line. Michigan forces the turnover.
Then again,
Good. Weber underneath. 1-point game. North Carolina by 1.
Michigan has no timeouts left. Sullivan pushed off. Got by.
Ronnie does, in fact, commit the foul on Sullivan. So Sullivan will go to the line with 20 seconds remaining. He's a 79% free throw shooter.
Sullivan given the ball. Couple of dribbles. Bends his knees. Pushes it up. Good!
With Carolina up by 2, the stage was set for an unusual ending to a classic game.
Sullivan shooting to give Carolina a 3-point lead. Sullivan's free throw is no good. Rebounded by Weber. Michigan out of timeout. And Weber, front court. Carolina thought he'd travel with it. Weber, front court. Carolina with foul. He takes the timeout. They're out of timeout. Technical foul. Technical foul on Michigan. They're out of timeouts.
That timeout resulted in a 2-shot technical foul, plus possession of the ball for Carolina, ending Michigan's championship dreams. However, a closer look from another angle shows that Weber might not have been the only Wolverine who was unaware that Michigan was out of timeouts. Weber may have taken a cue from at least one of his own teammates when he neared his own bench and called the ill-fated timeout.
Whether I heard voices or not, that doesn't matter. I called a timeout when we didn't have one, and it probably cost our team the game.
I think we had Weber in a pretty good situation in the double team. We only had 3 team fouls, and we were going to foul. If he hadn't taken timeout, all we had to do was keep fouling. I don't think that timeout necessarily won the game for North Carolina or lost it for Michigan.
Unfortunately, it did somewhat overshadow what had been another stellar year for Michigan's special group of sophomores. For the second straight season, the Fab Five had led the Wolverines to the brink of a national title, only to come up short as time ran out on a remarkable season.
This could put it away and make the Tar Heels the national champions. And the party is ready to begin on Franklin Street. 8 seconds remaining. Bill Ford and Randy Wheeler beside themselves on the Carolina bench. They're both good. I mean, all of them were cleanly through. 77-71. Carolina will just get out of the way. Jalen Rose for 3. No good. Front of the rim. Lynch for the rebound. Outlet to Phelps. It's over. Carolina. The Tar Heels have won the national championship. Right where they won it 11 years ago. In the Crescent City. In New Orleans. Carolina 77, Michigan 71. And who said Dean Smith wouldn't win the big one again?
Winning the national championship is a day that I'll always remember, a night that I'll always remember, and the team that this happened with couldn't make it more special. And I think that, especially under Coach Smith, because he's such a great coach, and he deserves it because he's worked so hard with us as a team. He bonds with us so well and leads us in everything we do. And I think that's why it's such a great victory for him.
And now it's my pleasure to present the National Championship Trophy to Coach Smith and the University of North Carolina. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. You're so excited for the seniors, number one. I mean, the other guys are coming back and will be a national contender again, I hope. But I am so happy for the seniors, and we set that as a goal.
Carolina's goal was reached. It was time to celebrate. The March of the Tar Heels was complete.
Everybody here in the national championship, it just doesn't get any better than this.
I think you all deserve it too. And ain't much more to be said, but we're number one.